Hi students, hello everyone, welcome to week 7. So I always like to start with a little bit of review. We've been talking a lot about the distrust about our industry that is pretty widespread. And how do we address it? We're the ones that deal with customers. How do we address that distrust? What do we say to people, especially when a lot of what we do is try to sell them things? So business success is really dependent on 3 big things. One is that your prices are fair, your prices are accurate, and the car gets fixed. When you're doing all of those things and dealing with reasonable people, it's very likely that you're going to have a successful business. How we deal with distrust, I believe, is to be as honest as possible and as transparent as possible. The new buzzword, transparency. Every step of the way, the more we communicate, the safer we are. Well, we got your car in the shop, we'll be getting back to you soon. We have text messages now, we have ways to let people know not everybody wants to have updates every couple of hours, but lots of people are comforted by that. So that is one way to address any kind of discomfort that someone may have based on a past experience. So this week we're going to delve deeper into ALLDATA, and I want to invite anyone who is confused to reach out to me. I'm happy to help specifically with specific issues when I can. I want to encourage you all to look at the PowerPoints and do the work early, because when you submit things and you get them wrong, you can fix that. You can go back and fix it. So once you submit something, check out what my comments are and what your grade is and see if there's anything to fix or if you got everything exactly correct. When I ask you for something, I can guarantee you that it's there. When I ask you the price on a water pump, it is there somewhere. So if you're not finding it, find another way to look for it. There are terminology issues, things such as valve adjustment. Valve adjustments are something that I think on cars where they are called for, it's very important maintenance item. ALLDATA very often will say valve clearance. Checking valve clearances is pretty much the same thing as doing a valve adjustment. So valve clearance, valve adjustment, not the same thing as replacing a valve cover gasket. In that case, you're just removing a valve cover, putting a new gasket. You're not adjusting anything, or you're not checking any adjustments. So there are some terminology issues that we'll have to get used to. So there are 2 PowerPoints this week, one called Fact or Fiction. There are lots of myths about our business, things that are floating around as common beliefs that are just simply not true. And there are lots of things that are true that some people know about and lots of people don't know about. So give a look at the PowerPoint of Fact or Fiction. I think you may learn some interesting things. In addition to getting further into ALLDATA this week, we're introducing car systems. So do I think a service advisor needs to be a journey level technician? I do not. It is helpful to have a basic understanding about the different car systems. What do we mean by car systems? An engine is a system. Brakes are a system. Suspension is a system. Exhaust system. Intake system. Emissions systems. There are systems that we have to have some basic idea about. Now we can research these things mostly from ALLDATA, but it's a good idea to have a basic understanding, because a lot of what gets called upon from service advisors is to help customers make decisions about what things need to be fixed now, what things can wait a little while, and how do we do that? So, for instance, a customer may come to you with a driving, burning issue for them that their inside door handle breaks, and now they have to roll down their window to reach out to the outer door handle to open their door, and they're hating it. But in the meantime, they're a regular customer, and when we drive the car, we hear a horrible brake noise when we step on the brakes. And we look at their records, and they're overdue for a timing belt. So they come in with something that's annoying to them, and we're going to fix that. We're going to tell them how much it's going to cost, and we're going to fix that. But it's really incumbent upon us to be good professionals to inform them about the brake situation and sell them a brake inspection, which allows us to find out exactly what's wrong, price it, and then give that information to them. They may or may not want to do the work, but they should have the information, and that's what we would need to communicate. So safety comes first. Safety is number one. If someone is on a budget, we have to start with the safety issues, both for their sake and for ours in terms of our liability for when we work on a car. If we fix a door handle, a customer goes down the street, gets on the freeway, and gets into an accident and gets hurt because their brakes are bad, there are occasions where that comes back to haunt us. That becomes our fault because we did not advise the customer. So that's what I mean by liability. Once we work on a car, we become responsible in some ways. So very important to pay attention to safety issues. The next most important thing is preventative maintenance. What do I mean by preventative maintenance? If I do it now, I'm saving myself the possibility of an even greater expense later on. So a good example of that is the timing belt. On many cars that have timing belts, if that timing belt breaks, one thing is guaranteed to happen. The car now needs a tow truck to get wherever it's going. It's broken, it's done, it's not going to drive anymore. The second thing that happens very often is that the engine gets damaged as a result of the broken timing belt. So fixing a timing belt on time is a very good idea. So we are in the business of helping people budget what the important items are for them to address on their car and advising them accordingly. So there are 2 assignments this week. Both of them are 2 pages, so be sure to scroll down to the end and of both documents. One is 7 customers coming to you with 3 different things, and you are to judge what is the most important of those to do. So you'll prioritize 1, 2, and 3 for each of those 7 cars. The second is another ALLDATA, and again, we're looking for correct answers. The customer's car issue, in a sense, there are correct issues, because if you put door handle as the number 1 priority, the most important, I'm going to say that's not right. The number 1 priority is the safety issue in the example I gave you, which is the brake noise. The number 2 issue in that case would be the timing belt, because we don't want it to break, and the number 3 issue then becomes the door handle. So in a sense, correct answers, but there are some things that are judgment calls. But in the case of researching ALLDATA, I need correct information, because this is what we base our estimates on. And our estimates have to be accurate, and they have to be fair. So do your work, check it out. If I find that there are some errors in your work, I'm going to mark them for you and tell you which ones they are, and then you can go back and fix them. Of course, only if you turn it in early. If you turn it in late on Sunday, I won't have an opportunity to do that. So that's what I have for you. Everyone seems to be doing really well. Most of you are doing the work, and I appreciate that. I'm available if anybody has any questions, needs, or concerns. And otherwise, have a good week. See you next week.